Okay, we're live.
Today is June 13th, 2012. We're at the Revenue Enhancement Committee meeting. Here at the meeting from the board is Frank Sermonero, Connor Kurtz, Monica Hamill,
Superintendent Gary Otto.
and from
Yes, Bob knew.
and we have someone from the public who is here for a merit badge for his Boy Scouts troop.
Welcome.
Thanks for coming. Okay, today Dr. Otto just handed out a consulting agreement. Frank, did you get one?
Well, we don't have a heavy agenda, but I've invited Mr. New again to talk about our update of a meeting that we had on May 30th, in which we had Mr. Peterson in attendance. And just to characterize, it was a very friendly meeting, and Mr. Peterson was very understanding of the need to have the foundation go in a different direction as well. So I don't anticipate that as a problem. We've invited Mr. New here tonight to maybe you want to give us your feelings of the meeting that we had with Mr. Peterson.
I thought it was very positive. I mean, it was cordial, congenial. The one question I wanted to ask is, why haven't you done anything in 3 years? I don't know what kind of response, but I mean, he seemed okay, and and the one thing that concerned, it wasn't a concern, it was, I think I asked that question, what about the other board members? Do they still feel the same way you do? And he was sort of saying yes to that, and I said, I like to talk to him more than anything else, but. And you know who the people are, I don't. So if
it's a skeleton board anymore. There really weren't a lot of people left.
If you know the people as the people, that was fine. So I don't know. Did he?
He has not given me the paperwork yet. I'm still waiting on the turning over of the financial documents, but they're really not going to tell us much. But I just did want to give you that update that we had that meeting with him, and he did make some comments that were while he was positive, he didn't seem to think there were a lot of people out there interested in serving on a foundation board. I thought, I don't know what your reaction to that was, but
I never believe that. I always think there are people out there. Somebody wasn't out there searching. And one of the things that I always talk when at this point when a lot of people want to get community, I always say that one of the best people you want to talk to are your building principals. And just ask them who are the great young parents, and ask them where they are, because they can identify people. One of the things is it has to be, I think the people that you put on the board have to be enthusiastic and really care about, one, education, two, probably their children, so they should be parents, and that's a key. And if they have the type of background and skill set, they should be doing that. They can be doing those things, and I think it was like anything else. If you can attract those people, and then you have to sit down and talk to them. I mean, just one-on-one, face-to-face, no group meetings. You can do it. Normally, I will sit down in looking at board members and talk to them one-on-one, and just ask questions and how do they feel, and go from there. And you'll get you'll find people that are out there more than anything else. So that's a key. I mean, the key right now is. Did he ever send a letter of resignation?
I don't know that we really not to me.
I don't think we need it.
I mean, that's something that he really needs to do, not to the school district, but to whatever is left. I guess maybe to himself. I don't really know. I didn't get any kind of letter from him in terms of a resignation.
We had brought it up that there should be a letter of resignation. I don't know who was going to be sent. Gary's right. I don't know who was going to be sent to himself.
Well, the other board members that are still there, wouldn't he need to send one to them?
It's probably for the corporation book.
Yeah, just put
okay.
It should be on file that he can't come back as a non.
I can reach out to him and ask him to formally submit that, because maybe he thinks that he doesn't even have to do it. So
there probably needs to be probably one last set of minutes in the book.
Right.
In the books that says they resign their.
Yeah.
Right.
So nobody can come back and say, well, he's still the person. No, he resigned his position.
And
so can we recap on where we are in the process right now, just so we can all get kind of back on the same page? You had a meeting with with Joe.
So yes, that's
And
we're
that
now
seemed to go well.
the situation stands now as is we want to start to reconstitute and reach out to other people to reconstitute the board. So that's where we have to go next.
Okay. As a board on our side, we've done everything we need to do.
I think now
Bob
it's
going.
Yep. He has the last piece that we need to approve is his consulting agreement, which is in front of you, and I wanted to bring that to the committee before we move forward with actually getting into the meat of our work. Because he has already started to do some things, as I said, in terms of drawing up some documents for the letters and getting the board constituted. Maybe you want to talk about what the process is going forward now that the board has pretty much given its blessing to using you.
The first thing we have to do, and I'm very cognizant of the school calendar as much as anybody in the world, because foundation calendars work the same way. So it's summertime. But it's a time, I think. The first task is we need to find some people and just identify them. It can be we have a form. You have that form somewhere. Mm-hmm. We have a form that we use that just fill out the name, make recommendations. And then it's a follow-up. It's a call. Can I meet with you? And what we do a lot of times is, hey, I'd come here, sit in this room, and you're scheduled at 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 till we get them all done. And then just talk to them. I'll talk to them just as what your interest is, what their skills are, what they would like to do, what they want to, their time commitment, things like that. So
specifically, Bob, what is it we're looking for? Number of people, as far as number of people, and
we're looking two things. First of all, we want to establish a board of directors. I'm a big proponent of it should be only about 9 people. Okay, no more than I like it because there's some reasons that we adopt. Now, one of those persons is the superintendent. Okay, so we're down to 8. Another person could be a school board member. Okay, it would be what I tell people is as long as the majority of the board are from the community, we're fine. So nobody can say, hey, the school board or the school district is taking over. No, it's not. So we got 7 or even go 6-3. I have no problem. I think you've heard my philosophy a little bit, and I see it all the time. That the people that know as much about anything are the superintendent and you people. I mean, this is a business. So we're looking. So you know what the issues are. You know what the problems are. So that has to be articulated within that foundation board. I'm going to I sent something to the superintendent earlier this afternoon, and I'll give you a pass out about what the superintendent over at Great Valley did when their budget crisis, pretty well documented. And he basically got that out to the community. In essence, what happened, they were very successful. They raised $274,000 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I remember hearing the story. Let's go through the process just so I got it straight in my head. So the next step, other than this document, is that do you have enough do we have enough candidates right now?
We don't have any candidates.
We don't have any?
No.
You were submitted some names, I know, right?
For the executive director.
That was for the executive director.
They wanted.
Okay.
We're not even to
is
that
point
one
of
yet.
the 9?
The executive director is not a voting member of the board of directors.
It's not. Oh.
It's a person that's hired by the board of directors, and that person works for the foundation board.
Okay,
basically.
so you would establish the board first before you did the executive director?
Exactly.
Okay.
But you're all if you have names, so you're looking for the same type of people. But you want to establish a board of directors, and then at the same time, and very quickly, is establish a plan for the next school year, which would for 2012, 2013. When you look at the contract will run for 1 year that I'm here. So we'll start and end it, but it'll sort of be the next school year more than anything else. Even if it starts July 1 and we go from that point forward. But that's what it works. I laugh because none of the people I've ever worked with pay attention to the contracts because they think I always work for them even after it. Great Valley did the same thing. They said, come here, I go, why? We need to talk to you. We need an executive. That's how I started. I need an executive director.
Can I just ask, the form that you said that we need to look at is a criteria for what we're looking at for a board member, and you have the form?
Yeah. Garrett has it. You can have copies of it.
Okay, because
And
if we know people who are interested, this would be what we would
I can get all
give
of
them.
copies of that.
yeah, what it is, and they fill out the form. Okay. And
Matter of
then-
fact, I had made enough copies of this. If you want to pass one over to Connor.
what happens is then we sit down and interview. We talk to them. Because there's two issues. A lot of people want to have these, they end up having, they're afraid to tell people you can be a volunteer, right? Be a board member or have something very specific you want, and that's a committee person. Nothing wrong with that. So you have to identify that pretty much. So, but anybody who wants to come forward and say, hey, I'm interested, we'll find a place for them.
So it's up to us to get the word out on the streets, or are you helping us do that? Or is that what we do?
It's something you do. And one of the things, as I said, go to your building principals.
Yeah, they're all summer.
There is, to talk to those people because they know the parents. Now, the people you may know as well are some, what I think, alumni. The people that are born and bred here in this area of Birdsboro, that are alumnus of this school district, and you know them, and you think that they would be quality people, just give them a form or write out the form and let's contact them. I have no qualms about interviewing anybody. I mean, we'll talk to as many people as we have to, because that's going to be the key, is how many people we can get and get them enthused and get them to be part of this program.
How long should we, we should set target dates, obviously, so how long should this process go?
I like to get it done before the school starts.
Oh, yeah.
See, I become almost the de facto president of this for a while and then I always tell this to the superintendent, tell me who's the president, who do you want to be the president? We have to find a key person, and I look for here's the president and here's who I think could be, and we can look at it. So identify people that may be a good president too. Okay. Not to say we're going to tell them he's going to be president.
When I read this, I don't see like a contact person. Should they contact you? They contact us, and then
contact you, and then just
they contact us.
Yeah, and then I'll put something together so it flows a lot better, and then
I'll coordinate all.
Yeah,
that.
And then we'll just say we're going to set up interviews, and then I'll come up here and we'll sit down and physically interview.
Because I already know people from my neighborhood that would be interested in that.
You can give me the names just as well.
Okay.
And
so filter them through Dr. Otto.
Questionnaire. I don't have the information sheet on the individual.
Information sheet.
We have one sheet.
No, I don't.
Okay, there's a sheet there that says, name, rank, and serial number. What your interests are, and that's what I'm looking for those sheets.
Okay, because this one isn't
No, those don't have it. You're looking for. It's like a biography sheet. In other words,
information
I don't need a resume, but I just want to know. Who they are, fill it out, and we'll talk about it. And then I may even, before we start interview, is when you have a meeting to come in, and let's go through the names, so, just a quick opinion on everything. So to get me familiar.
Is it important for us to get the executive director in place before the school year starts, or are we just trying to get the board in place?
Get the board in place and see where we're at. If we see it can happen, yeah, we can do that. That's a positive. Okay, but the board, and that's where I have to spend my time the next 2 months. Okay, as I said, is to get this board up and ready, have some meetings with them, and then I have to explain also to them. They'll be a little bit in the dark and say we're going to go out and look for an executive director, and this is that job description, and you're going to be the boss of that person and give them direction. So. That has to be part. So we have to get chicken and egg. Chicken will be the board of directors. The egg will be the exec. But it'll work. What I would see is when I'm really running for the first 2 months. I'm sort of getting into a lot of details, and I can explain to them exactly what we're happening. And I can have a year-long agenda, pretty simple at this point. For them, that's what they're going to look at. These are some of the things we want to get accomplished this year, and in what month we want to get them accomplished. And I'm going to say, these are some of the skills we need. These are some of the people I need. and throw it back on them.
Well,
Yeah, sounds good. So right now, we have representation from the school district for 2 seats, the superintendent and one.
If you want to
board
put
member.
another
You okay
one,
with that?
Huh?
I mean, we can make a decision now. Is that good, or should we do 3?
I wouldn't change it. I think you as board members have enough responsibilities with other committees.
What you're doing as a board member sitting on the foundation board is basically
Just representing the whole board.
representing the board and giving the what is going on. One of the biggest problems we have, and I see this, is we don't tell the public, and that'll be the foundation board, exactly what's going on in public education, whether it's here or anyplace else. And that's what superintendent from a directive of, these are our, and you're going to say the same thing. These are the programs that we need to look at. These are the ones I need help with. And these are the ones, you may start looking and saying, hey, these might not get funded next year. I made a comment about 2 months ago. I was up at Hershey at the Athletic Directors Association meeting, and every time I talked to an athletic director, they were cutting the middle school sports. I mean, any place in the state. Didn't matter if it was here or Western Pennsylvania. And that's what one of the things that Great Valley saved was they were going to cut middle school sports. Big issues out there. There's issues out there.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Can we talk a little bit about what you see as the goals for the year that you're here? Obviously, we're going to establish a board. Mm-hmm. Another goal is that that you're going to guide that board toward the hiring of an executive director. But what are some of the other goals that you think are reasonable things that this foundation should achieve within the year that we first get it established?
The big thing is to make the community and the school district aware that the foundation exists more than it's because it's the biggest issue we face is who are you and what do you do? So it's brand new. This is where we talk about how is this going to support public education? How is it going to help the Daniel Boone School District? What are the issues that we're facing in the coming year? So that's a big one. But see, my whole thing is I'm a money man. So my goal always be, that I want to see you guys raise about $100,000 next year by the end. And there's a couple. It's not as hard as people think it is. We will be up and running on EIT's or tax credit program, which the news is out of Harrisburg as of yesterday. He's bumping it up. Now we're not getting. I mean, we're going to go a little bit higher, but it's all going to scholarship. But in our what they call EIO programs, it's going to go from $22 million to $30 million. So for us, if we don't get over, we're fine. But that's a priority for me. We get you approved. We get the programs that you want to look, and we're searching for that money. One of the first things that executive director, that's one of the search things is let's find some corporations that we can get involved with tax credit. We'll do a special event in the spring. Give me enough time to plan it and do it well. And so right there, between the two of them, it's almost $50,000. And then we'll just do some other things that I think can get done in the meantime.
What do you mean by a special event? Just so I kind of have an understanding what you
mean. The only one
by that.
I'll give you the simple one, and the one I can't say is golf outing.
Yeah, okay, I just want to see if I understood what you mean by
that's a special, some kind of, auction, silent auction. I just don't recommend golf outings, but I get hit on the head like that. You ever watch that? Because my partner, she's an ex-superintendent. She's a female. And I talk about special events. I said, we got to find some great ladies. I become a male chauvinist. But, hey, ladies are the ones I need to run that thing and do that. And we have a lot of those that we can get done. So, that's what I'm sitting there, not only with the president and the executive director. I'm sitting there all year and in their ear. These are the things we need to do. I'll sit at their meetings. This is where I want to see, and we'll critique afterwards. And you'll hear it. You'll hear input, and we just try to every day we got to get better. As I tell them, we got to get better.
How often do you typically, when you're trying to put this together initially, and you get the board together, and you're working toward getting the executive director, or you do get one? How often do you typically meet at that early stage?
Once a month. Once a month, and that's just. At least a meeting once a month. That doesn't count what that I'm here. I went back one time and looked at my records with consulting contracts only. And when I looked at, I would be at that district 1.8 times a month. That's just, I mean, physically there. That doesn't mean phone calls, emails, and all the other stuff that we produce to give them and work from there.
When we were semi-functional, we used to meet once a month.
Yeah.
We used to meet the first, I think it used to be like the first Tuesday of the month.
Yeah. It just, to me, seems like, you know, I'm in the private world, and once a month just seems so long to me. You know, like you do things every day.
Hey, what
wait
happens,
a month to get something done.
What drives me nuts is once a quarter. Oh, we only meet every 3 months. I go, everything goes, you know. I said, no, we have to do it. There's also another thing you would do, you know, because I came to the same world, that once you form the board, you're going to also have an executive committee within that board meeting. You know, your officers present. I'd probably want to meet with them too another time that month, just to make sure we're ready for the meeting or something like that.
See, now the other thing, just I share your sentiment, because we, even as a board, we meet twice a month. We have numerous committee meetings. We always seem to be meeting because there's a lot of business. With an executive director, that may be able to change. See, the problem was we were totally volunteer, and people, I don't think, our attendance wasn't great, even though we were putting down on the calendar a monthly meeting. It just, you know what I mean? It wasn't intense.
Right. Now, are we offering our facilities for that?
Yes, we would, absolutely.
We have a question from the public.
It's not really a question. I was kind of contacted from the Wolves to find out the number that Mike was supposed to call in this meeting.
Oh,
I sent that out to everybody.
Okay.
Well, he's driving out to his daughter's.
No, I knew.
Right,
We knew that, but I thought he knew the number. Oh, okay. All right. Well, tell him we admire his technology savvy, but the number is 610 582 6101.
610.
Tell him when it rings, we'll just press the button and he'll be here.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, not a problem.
that's fine. That's fine.
We'll probably want to edit that number out of the recording.
I can call I came out of the business.
Yeah, but somebody would call in and they wouldn't find anybody here.
I go crazy when I hear that we meet every other month, and I watch them, and everything's falling through the cracks.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't make there's deadlines. I mean, like especially on tax credit stuff, stuff's going to go flying through the things. There's a lot of things that we're doing. They got to know. And the other thing, one of the key elements, one of the things we want to get up, I hope to have it, is to have a newsletter. Do it electronically. I look at cost.
And we had tried again, to reiterate, they had made an attempt at this when we were the old fledgling foundation. Somebody was going to do a website, and we were going to give them access. As a matter of fact, we had access, and we had a site, and it was doing nothing. So, frankly, I took my discretion and I shut it down. I just didn't feel like that was a good message.
I have a question about the board of directors. You mentioned that we could have the superintendent and a board member. I believe on the foundation that we currently have, the failed organization, they're ex officio members and they do not have a vote. On this foundation, they will have a vote, correct?
People have to understand Robert's Rules of Orders. Robert's Rules of Orders.
He's our resident.
Yeah, he's our.
Okay, when it says ex officio, it doesn't say anything about voting.
That's true.
Right. Now, I'm a bylaw hack. So, and I reckon...
You guys should have a meeting afterwards.
my Robert Rules is still in my bookcase. But I think that they have to have a vote. That's a
Mike?
philosophical thing.
Hello?
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 Mute.
Oh, wait a minute. Why is that saying mute?
Here's the.
There we go. Hello?
Hello there.
Hi there.
We're just
Sorry about that. I had a little problem with my phone.
Well, we just finished, so we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Drive safe.
Just kidding.
But back to that, that's what it is.
We're just join in.
That means the person who's in the position. That's all it means.
Yeah. So what's the answer to that question? Do you vote or you don't
Yes,
vote?
you do.
Yeah, I'm big one. I'm one that votes.
Yeah, I've always wondered that too, because it seems we use ex officio to mean they don't vote, but that's not correct.
That's what everybody
Yes,
thinks.
that's not correct. Yeah.
I hear that all the time, and then I normally will say to them, "Well, tell me what ex officio means."
But you can designate a non-voting member of a board.
Sure.
Because technically, as a superintendent, I'm a member of the school board, but I'm a non-voting member.
Okay, but yeah.
Superintendents don't vote.
No. Okay, but they can
executive
vote.
director is
On the
is
foundation,
that on
we're
the
letting
foundation.
you.
Exactly.
On the foundation, we're giving you votes.
Right.
Yeah, all right. So to make it clear, board member votes and Dr. Otto would vote.
Yeah.
So
Dr. Otto would vote
There's
On
one.
that board, yes.
on that board. Okay.
Unless they would pass in their bylaws that they wouldn't want me to vote. They could do that.
The bylaw set that I use says that they can vote. The other issue, it's not an issue. One of the key people I always like is the business manager, sitting on the foundation board. So that's a decision that you really have to make. And if they wanted,
Our business manager?
yes, your business manager. Because first of all, you have to understand, sometimes you get somebody that understands accounting and finance and things like that. I've had people call me and say, "I'm going to be the treasurer of the foundation. Do you have any examples?" Yeah. And it's closed because there's things here you can do it. Now you could put them on the board and make them a non-voting. That's a decision, but theoretically, I'd rather see. That's my feeling is that the business manager or assistant business manager of the school district be the treasurer. Or
And
somebody.
would they be voting also?
You can do that. It's up to you. I have no problem with it.
I wouldn't suggest that, but that's another conversation for another time.
Yeah.
Well, that board can figure that out.
Right, exactly.
Right.
I don't want to be in that decision.
My question was, I think Rob was the.
Rob,
Is that going to stay?
Sure, unless he
Because I
doesn't want
thought
to do
you
it.
and him were talking
Well, I
that
had
maybe you
suggested
would
to-
do it.
I wasn't trying to push Rob out of it by any means. What I had suggested to Rob is, when we first made that decision in December, it was a defunct foundation, and it really was a nothing position. So, once we got you on board and we thought we're going to build this thing up, I just mentioned to Rob, if you're interested, go for it. But if you really don't care either way, then somebody on the REC would
Right.
jump on there. I mean, I would jump on there. I wouldn't have a problem getting on.
Right. Well, and again, that's something to be worked
But
out.
no, I'm not trying to push him out. But no, it's Rob right now, and I
Right.
think he's interested in staying on the board.
Okay.
Who's he?
He's one of our new board
One of our
members,
board
newly
members.
elected.
School board member.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, just to recap, so I have it straight. And again, the reason I ask all these questions, Bob, because we're excited about it.
You have to ask questions.
I'm not
You
asking,
better ask questions.
Yeah, I'm not asking to be, negative. We're excited to get this thing started. So again, some of the goals that we hope to see for the first year is establishing the board, guiding toward hiring an executive director, gaining public awareness of the foundation through various means, participate in the EIT the tax credit within the year, raise $100,000, have a special event at least one in the spring, and get a newsletter or some other form.
There's one we're missing, which is to be an advocate. See, I always tell people don't realize this, that when you're a nonprofit, and I don't care what kind of nonprofit you are, you have two obligations, and this is more universal. You raise money, and you're an advocate for the organization. Mm-hmm. We do not do a good job telling the community how good our kids are and how talented we are. And we'll make a special effort to have a special day probably in March, something like that, to show off all their talent.
Yeah. See, what I'm really excited about with this foundation is that they go into it with the mindset that you are an advocate for the education of the kids in this school. It's not special interest. You're not there just to raise money for a sports program or whatever.
Right.
You're there for this school district.
And whatever all of that means.
Whatever that, and that's a part, I'm going to be honest with you, probably 95% of our foundations don't pay attention to. And I just think that the kids are so talented in some of the things that they do. I laugh. You may have heard this. I hope I don't repeat myself. In Phoenixville, we have a 24/7 TV. We used to have it. We're still there. Television station, and I had my own show. What it was called, it was all about sports, Phoenixville tradition. And the first time I did my show, I actually had the superintendent with me that day. And I'm getting ready, I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden I hear this, 3, 2. My producer was a 9th grader. and after every show I did, I'd sit down with these kids, and they're just so talented. I mean, we go through the show. I'm going to add this. I'm going to add that. I'm going to cut this.
Yeah.
I mean, and these are nice, but people don't realize how. You know, if,
Right.
you know, do you have a robotics program here or some, you know, great stuff that they show off? With, you know, cooking, anything that shows off the music.
Yeah.
You know, let them sing, let them do those things. And we've done them in school districts and just made it free to the public. Come out for the day. You know, meet some of the kids and hear some of the things we don't. Nobody gets charged.
No, we have a lot of great programs. I think there's a lot of things we can showcase.
Yeah, I mean, not to be overly critical, but we can even make that statement for ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm aware of some of the great things because I'm a parent more so than a school board member.
Okay.
You know, I go to some of these events as a parent, and I'm like, oh my God, these kids, I can't believe some of the things they do. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We do need to advocate that more.
No, I'm amazed because I have grandchildren in 10th and 9th grade, and my granddaughter, my 10th grader, is also almost my administrative assistant and stuff that I do because she is so talented, computer-wise. She's my technician and things like that. But the kids are talented. I mean, we don't talk about that enough. Throughout the years. And that's what the newsletters are for. We're going to talk about the good things that the kids are doing and, the positive things, because everybody's knocking kids right now.
Asking if he has any questions.
Mike, do you have any questions?
No, I'm sorry I missed a little bit of the beginning of it. I assume the way's been cleared for the new board to be seated.
Yes, you did miss that.
Joe Peterson is stepped aside.
We had that meeting, and in principle, yes, we're hoping to get something officially in writing from him shortly, and I think he would be more than willing to do that. So yes, that meeting has taken place. That's how we opened this meeting before you called.
So the only to-do we really have of any substance is for us to try to generate awareness for folks who may want to join the board. So how are we going to do that?
We can.
I'll start to gather names. I'll start to work with the building principals and other people, even the boards included.
School board members.
School board members.
One of those med ed messages.
A Connect Ed message.
Connect Ed.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that would be.
And you might talk to some key people here.
Go ahead.
Sorry, guys, I'm going through the sticks here.
That's okay.
I'm running out of signal.
Right.
You're back.
You can ask Andy. I mean, when they go ahead, guys, give them the forms. Here,
you know what? Just the same way we canceled graduation, we could do a Connect Ed and something on the web.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the Connect Ed doesn't have to go into all the detail, but maybe to get people interested and then direct them to the website.
Right. Please check our website where now the board has. I could do a little. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
We're reformulating the foundation.
We may even want to tell them.
And I wouldn't put anything in there that's going to be a member of the board.
No, we don't want to say board and member together.
No. They want to be involved in the new foundation.
Okay.
And we'll figure out whether they're a board member or a committee person or something like, and what their skills are, how they can help. That's important because I'll tell you one thing. I need an IT guy. And you need an IT guy that can understand databases and. The newsletter and anything electronically.
Yeah, sure. There's quite a few of those.
Yeah, you're going to need some PR people. That are good in public relations and things like that. As I said, ladies with to special event type of programs.
Right.
And then we're going to look at executive types. When we talk about EITC, that's a special presentation that has to be made, and who has business connections. And that's that's going to be able to sit down and do certain things like that.
When I was in North Penn, we had a foundation, and it was a functioning foundation, and it was really doing well. And there were some pretty high-powered people who were board members of that board, just like you see on school boards. So when you get it done and get it whirring, and it's in place, you're back.
I'm back again.
Yep. When you get it in place, it functions on its own.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the superintendent was a member of that board, but never had to worry about it.
I follow that. I'm being more tactical now. I want to know how we're going to get from where we are now to getting awareness out there, so we can get people in here to be interviewed. So
I'll tell you the secret.
Did I understand before I dropped off that you're going to use the Connect Ed system to kind of notify all the parents and of the existence of this board and possibly put the feelers out there for solicitations?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I would say don't say board. I just say
We're not going to call it the board. We're going to ask who would want to get involved
with the foundation.
with the foundation.
New foundation. That's all.
Right. Okay.
And then we'll follow that up with a little bit more heavy detail on the web page.
Yeah, if we get a good response, we may even want to have a presentation. Have a session set up. Sometime in
Well, I guess that's something we can do.
July or August, where we can give a presentation to those folks who
Yeah, no, that's
folks that are
not
interested.
You're going to find we'll probably talk about August 15th and later because people just take off for the summer.
Yeah.
But we can get that's not a problem.
But no, it's key that we get the word out now in June, though.
Yeah.
What about putting the form, the individual form that you need information? Can we put that on the website, so on a PDF, so they can download it, fill it out, and mail it in?
Yeah.
Rather than yeah.
You said the type of people who were looking for people with business connections. Then you listed a few other types of people.
Yeah,
we wanted people who specialized.
Yeah. You need skill sets. I mean, it's very different. Where I see problems sometimes, and we get beat up on IT stuff. I mean, it's a bit. Remember, this is a business, and we have to run as a business. So, you need some IT people that are going to be there. If we're going to you're going to need a database at a certain point. You're going to be able to, do the website. I look at too many websites. The last time it was updated was about 2010. Okay, you need people that are going to. That's all I want them. That's all you want them to do. That's their job. So when you go around a meeting at the end of the month, what's going on with the website or how's our newsletter going and getting it sponsored, and they know what they're doing. They have that skill set.
Well, this is clearly a roll up your sleeve board.
Oh yeah, this is not a policy board,
right?
And I will remind them that all the time.
Yeah.
This is called WORK, W-O-R-K.
That's what I called my diversity committee. I said, if you just want to come and talk about diversity, no thanks.
No, I'll be.
We have things to do.
Right.
Is it off bounds to give information to kids to say, give information to your parents? Because once they put something on Facebook, it goes everywhere. And
I keep it off Facebook at this point, but Facebook will be part of it down the road. But not that to promote. I think we'll get enough,
parents.
I think this Connect Ed's going to get us a really good
I
start.
think that's a good start. And
I
then
think
have
Connect
something on
Ed-
the website for them to reference.
And I think,
Could you draft something? No, I'm not trying to micromanage. Again, I'm just interested. Could you draft something that you would say on Connect Ed so we can kind of read it before you send it out?
Sure.
There's
So
a letter in there, even that letter in there, we can just adapt.
Yeah, I mean, I can work on that. I'm actually only in the district till noon tomorrow, but early next week, I mean, I can have something together. Maybe I'll try to get something in the board update. So this is kind of what I'm looking at.
Yeah, that would be great.
And to be honest with you, it'll be less than probably 50 words. Because if you get too wordy,
the hang up.
It'll hang up.
well, not hang up. They'll stop listening.
So can we try to target when we'd like to get this Connect Ed message out?
I would say.
Today is the 13th.
I would say probably no later than Friday a week.
That's the 22nd.
Yes.
Okay.
June 22nd.
June 22nd.
I can tell you that's like the drop dead date. I'll probably have it out well before then.
Okay. So we'll target Friday,
Is that the thing that goes to
6/22.
parents?
That would be the message that goes out to
Parents.
Parents.
You have a thing that you can send every. there's no
Yeah,
school
I
day.
call up a number. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No school today number.
So prior to next Friday, June 22nd, we need to get some kind of web page up.
That would be, well, what I would do is I would pattern it.
Right.
It's just going to be a link that's going to pattern. It'll be probably the repetition of my message with some more detail that
Yeah,
says.
I would think all.
But with these kind of links to that kind of stuff.
Can you think you can make that date?
I'm not going to. I mean, I'm going to be out a day and a half, so I'll be here at 5.
Mr. Haas, you think you can make that date?
Scotty Matz will do it for me.
Okay.
Dr. Otto, I have a question.
Go ahead.
The Connect Ed system, the day-to-day they use to contact all the parents. Is that purged every year, or is that continually growing so that if you go back a few years since it's been created, I'm sure you're going to get a larger audience with to try to reach out to?
No, we purge it and update it according to the student population.
Okay.
Nice thought, but
It is a nice thought.
Yeah.
It is a really nice thought.
we don't have that in place. We don't have that in place now.
One of the things we talked about, and there's a band foundation, and I would like to be part, meet them, and I really probably would like them to have a seat on the board, because you want to keep everybody informed, and they're going to be. What are you guys doing? You're going to steal, and we got to tell them no.
Steal their thunder, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're an essential part of this whole.
Yeah,
thing.
I looked at they do a nice job. I mean, I looked at their 990s, and they're doing a nice job. But we want to embrace them right away. We don't want them, I think, to know that. I don't want them to get the word secondhand. Reach out to them, and you want to be part of all this. And here's some ways we can help you, because they haven't even thought of some of that.
That's another good thought, Bob. I mean, maybe, Dr. Otto, we should contact the leadership before the Connect Ed message goes out, just so they're aware. So that would be.
Well, Mr. Wolf is right here. You hearing that, Mr. Wolf?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I'm here. That obviously the boosters have their own contact list, which is pretty substantial. That because they do the same thing, request donations and make people aware of different events. So they definitely would have an interest in this, also, and they have it's like the sports boosters as well would have a number of people that contribute to that call list.
Yeah, mostly, Mike, what we're saying, though, is we want to make sure that leadership understands that we want to work arm in arm with them as we move forward. We don't want them getting the message.
Oh, okay, right.
We don't want them getting the Connect Ed message and saying, what's going on? I got
sure.
Another part of this before school starts is we should meet with all the organizations, meaning the building parents, PTAs, and any of the booster clubs, just because they're going to think we're a threat. I mean, that's the first, and I have to dispense it. That we're not. That we can help you do a lot more things than you realize, and how it all.
Well, I'm going to add them to that list of people I should call, the PTC.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I could give you the contact for the new president of the sports music boosters.
Yeah, just email that to me. Goose will have the sports boosters contact, and I'll get the PTC from the elementary principals.
Okay.
We need to sit down with them, and just sort of explain how the foundation.
Well, I'm just going to make that initial phone call to say, hey, we're going to start really ramping up our advertisement and resuscitation of the Ed Foundation. Just be aware, and we would want your support. And if you want to be involved, we're looking for you.
Right.
Help us out. It'll be a good news message, hopefully.
Awesome. I'm excited. Finally get this thing going.
It's been, 2 years? We've been sitting here
Longer.
trying to do our own database and trying to do this and trying to do that.
Well,
Well, you're as bad as I
it's
am.
a glimmer of hope, at least.
Yeah, I have a question. Maybe you covered it already. My understanding was that the sports boosters and the music boosters initially were at least partial contributors to setting this up. Is there any money left of whatever they had donated to get this thing up and running?
Mr. Peterson didn't turn the books over. I believe there's less than $1,000 left.
Yeah, there was something in there.
We really, that was an issue that the board would have had to take up as far as the disbursement of that money, and I don't think anybody's raised the question, so I don't really know if it's kind of like a non sequitur. It's really not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
There was some money, but I don't.
There is some money left.
He said something. I didn't pay attention to.
But it's not even seed money to.
So are you going to reach back out to Mr. Peterson and ask him where those things are? Where's
Yes.
our next step with that?
That'll be probably on my, before I head out of town tomorrow, on my list.
Yeah, the only reason I ask is the question may come up that, hey, listen, we understand we donated to say $10,000 to this, 10, 15 years ago. Is there any of our money left? And basically the answer is going to be no.
Well, it'll be yes, but it's a minimal amount.
All right.
And they did have evidence of where they spent it. It just was not, in my opinion, I want to go on record saying that, not well spent. So
we don't know how it was spent.
no, we do. They had hired a consulting company to try to get this a fundraising drive for the stadium before it got built. That's how far back that conversation goes.
Okay.
And that just fell flat on its face. I'm just being honest, so let's move on from that. That's the past. That's not the future.
Do we want to go through the consulting agreement?
I'm just showing that to you. I think being that it's kind of a legal document, I just wanted you to have copies of it.
Okay.
My next step with this is to send it off to Mr. Subers.
Okay.
I didn't want to do that
The
until
one
you as a
thing in
committee.
it, though, all of you should include is the scope of work. So if you want to add, you can add stuff there too. If you think there's, hey, Bob, I want you to do this, or I want you to do that. That's your thing. I just put normally what's in there. We don't have to do the legal filing because you're okay. Okay. But, if there's certain things that specifically say, I like to...
Hang on. Mike, what we're looking at right now is Mr. New has provided me with what is going to be his agreement for his services.
Okay.
So I'll make sure I scan a copy of that and get that to you.
Thank you.
So that's what actually we're discussing now. It includes the compensation arrangement and the agreement and some other minor details. It's only a 4-page document.
I mean, is this still accurate? This is any changes to this, or is this what it is?
I just sent that two weeks ago.
So did your services really start June 1st?
No.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
They don't start till the day I get paid. But I've only been here so many times between.
Yeah, we haven't really fully ramped up. We're getting there now.
I just want to know if the clock's ticking or not.
I would assume if you're okay with it, we'll probably look at July 1 as a start date. I mean, I could have this ready, even though it wasn't on the agenda at the committee of the whole, have it ready for a vote on the 25th.
Gotcha.
This includes you finding an executive director?
No, that'll be a separate document.
Okay, so that's not included in this here.
That'll be a separate document, how we go about that and the financing of that.
Okay. So
Now remember, any of the funds expended come back to us in that loan agreement. I have a preliminary document that was presented to us. It's going to be paid back to us in the form of a promissory note, so that there's no real interest or no real. But until we start to expend money, I'm not going to have that until the foundation is in place and they're ready to accept that responsibility. That's just a draft document.
that's included. That's part of the loan. Okay, I see.
You understand?
Right. This is, okay. Yes, I got it.
So that's all I have. If there are questions,
It's all right. Any questions from the public? No. Any questions from the board?
What is the compensation amount? What's the contract?
9,000.
At this point, for the services that are included in this contract, $9,000 for 1 year's worth of service.
Okay, to connect that message service, how many times have you used that in the last 6 months?
In the last 6 months, we use it all the time at the building level. I personally have used it, I think twice. I think I might have done something during the racial incident, and
Several times.
I've had
several times.
Several times.
Yeah.
And then I also used it for the graduation cancel. I'm going to say 5.
Is this the most administrative use of the message service? Not that you know what I'm saying? Is this message service meant to be for emergencies?
No, it has general parameters. It's pretty much at our discretion how we use it. It's really intended to be a vehicle. Let me say it another way. I think what we're planning to use it for reaching out for this Ed Foundation, is exactly what it's designed for, to be able to pull at the community with important issues. But its primary use and its effective use is really for safety issues, and safety issues being travel on snow days, or for crises, emergencies, etc.
I'm actually really excited about this, and I want to definitely get the information to start talking to people, to gather up people that I know to see who wants to sit
One of the things
and
I
help.
should have are the email addresses of the school board. Because I can get.
Yeah, I think the earlier we can get the message out there to
Right.
see if you know, because in summertime that's when everybody's getting together to talk about it. So
Right.
earlier the better.
No,
Right.
I'm extremely excited. I think
This is on my task list. Like I said, I have a professional commitment starting at noon tomorrow. I'll be back in Monday, and we'll start rolling with it Monday. And I may even be able to, like Mr. Peterson, I can probably handle getting a hold of him tomorrow. I don't. Sometimes there's a little lag in him returning my messages, but that for all intents and purposes is just a formality now. That's that conversation. We needed to have that. We've had it, so we're ready to move on. That's not an impediment to.
Everybody's excited. I got to tell you why I'm excited. Not other than here. 11 months and 2 weeks. We were finally approved by the Department of Transportation in Pennsylvania. We have a specialty license plate for Pennsylvania education, which will be some of the first ones to see. And it all dovetails back into a matching grant program for our foundations and things.
So you mean it's a way to raise money?
Oh, yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
And it might be prejudicial, but the former superintendent here is the chairman of the Matching Grant Committee, Rita.
Okay.
No, they didn't know her.
I read about her.
She's a good friend, and Charlie Musso's another. We have all
He's a former superintendent. We all want something to do after we retire.
Well, burn out.
Yeah. No, we don't burn out.
You just keep going.
We just keep going, just doing something else.
One of the issues of it, in the EITC program, there's a lot of things that you cannot get approved, okay, because of the legislation. And that's why this thing is going to go into place. One of them is staff development. That does not. You can't get that through on the EITC.
Nah, we'll handle our own staff development.
Yeah, but I mean, now we can give you money for that more than anything else. But there's some things that it was. You want to talk about bureaucracy? See, I wanted to put on the license plate.
You want to hand this out?
Yeah, supporting public education, and we had a big fight, like 3 months worth of it. No. And I go, why? I was about ready to start, get the legislators involved. I said, no, that's not what we do anymore. I said, I've seen it on license plates, so we can do it and we'll promote it. We've got some people that are, willing to, this is going to be a program. I think we can generate a couple $100,000, but now it gives, from our consortium standpoint, credibility where I can go to other people and say, hey, this is a matching grant, we can share it. It only goes right to the classroom. It's that type of situation you're applying on everything. So.
All right. Any other questions, comments?
He has this handout that he wanted to give us.
There's one of each. Now this is, I make a comment, when I started here and I started at Great Valley, both of them, their foundation was a little bit better. they had 3 board members that were actually active and they were doing some things. And I know them. And I formed their foundation 5 years ago. And they finally, when Rita was there, and they finally said, we want an executive director. And that's all they said. I said, okay, in January I hired one. And I said, you're getting a superstar. And in April they raised $274,000 in 2 weeks. And she was in the middle of everything. I mean, she was hired at 25 hours a week. She was working 60. I had breakfast.
Who's the executive director?
Yeah, in Great Valley.
Yeah, who is?
Her name?
Yeah.
Her name's Jen Kissel.
Oh, okay.
And we had breakfast one. She said, I put 60 hours in. She was in the middle of all those superintendent budget meetings.
Right.
And she knew it. And then, they went out. They did a technique that we talked about. That they just said to the parents, only 1,000. And the biggest thing she said, your website got 17,000 hits. In that 2 week period, because they wanted to see who was giving the money. And they're going to continue already. So that's, and I sent the superintendent earlier today, that budget thing that your superintendent had, and it was really focusing on revenues down and the pension costs going up over, so you can look at some of the stuff we're able to do. So that's happening all over the place. So that was a newsletter. See, there's a type of newsletters that I put out from our consortium, and that's what we want to do with here in the community to say, Laura, what are we doing? Except minor, like we won the football games. Here they want to know that. Especially if we're starting, they don't live around here anymore. But we have some work to do. Challenges that we're doing.
Now, can we subscribe to this email list?
You just give me the names. You don't have to subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. That's one of it's kind of interesting because it's called constant contact. One of the things we can do, if you guys go to constant contact, you can get it done free. Somebody can sponsor you and it's a free service.
I use it for my business.
Well, good. Then you can sponsor it here. Wait a minute. And it becomes free here.
Our first sponsor.
There you go.
It's called Care for Kids.
Okay.
If you ever look at the bottom of some of these things, it's not on mine because I haven't got. It's called Care for Kids. Constant contact. All you do is write a letter and say, I'm sponsoring the Dana Bream Education Foundation, and now it becomes free. I send out about 25,000 newsletters a year for the cost of $350. And people read this, this type of stuff that go out. So that's a key to what we want to do. We're going to be our sponsor. I'll show you how that works.
Okay, show me how it works. Because I don't pay $300. I pay a lot less than that. But
you have less things. Well, see, I have 2,000. I try to keep under the 2,500.
Okay, yeah.
It's all predicated on the number of names you have. So there's a break at 1,000 and then 2,500. And I really watch under 2,500.
2,500, yeah.
So but it's people read these things. I get they're looking for them when they see them. So that's why I said the school board just have their email just put on the list, and then I need to to communicate sometimes to everybody at one time.
Dr. Arnold, can you forward him our board email addresses? They're all on the website too. If you click on the school board,
okay, all right,
I can do all
that's fine. I can do that.
All right,
that's not a problem. We have one coming out next week, which it's called Summer Reading. I can't believe it's our 7th year. We put out the same one. It's called Here's the Book You Want to Read This Summer. Some of them are about foundation, a lot of others just fun ones. But it's fun. We try to have a lot of fun with it. We can start generating some names of the way that rock and roll right away.
Well, looks
We'll have
good.
some homework to do.
Absolutely.
Any questions? You can get me anything. I go 24/7.
I have he's always easy to access, not a problem.
Okay. All right.
Great.
Best time to get me Saturday morning.
All right.
No, we won't reach out Saturday.
Well,
Time to have your coffee.
That's when I get all my work done.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. All right. And if no more questions, then we'll adjourn the meeting. It is 6:59, I think.
Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you all.
Thank you.